So how do we optimize a sandbag, a kettlebell, and a pull-up bar to get the most bang for our buck? Well, that all depends on what you want to pursue. Sandbag, kettlebells, and calisthenics training is a broad statement, and the possibilities are endless when arranging in a training split. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give some scenarios and examples of how I've arranged and paired these tools to build strength, work capacity, and overall fitness effectively. Let's dive in. Splitting these tools up in separate days is the most basic way to do it, with a sandbag only day, a kettlebell day, and then a calisthenics day. I found that this works well when progressively overloading to build strength with the sandbag, or if you're focused on improving certain skills with the kettlebell and calisthenics. This allows you to focus more on what you're trying to practice and improve out of each modality. If you're training heavy with the sandbag, and then try to add some kettlebell and calisthenics at the end, after the sandbag session, you're more than likely not going to be able to bring forth the appropriate amount of effort to make these reps count. I'd say it's the most straightforward, simple approach that eliminates the fluff and gets right down to it. Pairing the kettlebell with calisthenics works very well with each other, just like the classic swing and push that we all love so much. It's a full body workout with minimal movements. One modality complements the other and doesn't take away or hinder performance on it. In other words, the swings don't affect the push-ups. This is how I trained when I was on a progressive overload cycle with a sandbag, and it really allowed me to focus on the skill and strength with the sandbag. Originally, I split everything up, but noticed I was getting unusually sore from the isolation of the calisthenics. So I combined the two, and the soreness dropped significantly. I theorize it was from doing mostly explosive movements with the kettlebell, and I'd say it flushed the lactic acid out before the delayed onset muscle soreness could set in. Might be something to that, I don't know, but it seemed to work pretty well. I would recommend doing this in a cycle with a moderate weight sandbag, as in a weight heavy enough to provide a stimulus, but not too light at the same time. My rule of thumb with volume is to either go high volume on the sandbag and moderate to light on the kettlebell and body weight, depending on if you're working in supersets or giant sets, or vice versa. Light to moderate on the sandbag and then high on the others. That depends on what you're focused on at the moment, though. If it's building skill with the sandbag, I would go high on the volume and light on the others so I can focus on practice and repetition with the sandbag. If it's in preparation for a challenge, I would go moderate on the volume for both modalities and keep the number of sets equal for both. I say moderate because that's enough to get something out of the workout, but not heavily taxing at the same time. I found this works pretty well if the focus is skill along with preparing for a physical challenge or event with any modality. I hope this helps you optimize your training with sandbags, kettlebells, and calisthenics. This is the way I go about using these modalities in my training. I've pretty much learned this from experimentation, finding what works and what doesn't. When I plan a pursuit or a cycle, I'll create a blueprint of arrangements that I think will pair together well. Try it out, and usually after about 3, maybe 4 weeks, I've eliminated, rearranged, or added to it and dialed it in. You can sit and think all day long with pen to paper about what sounds effective, but you won't really know until you try it and have done it long enough to see the effects and results of it. The weight of your sandbag ultimately can dictate how you arrange these tools. If it's heavy, I would split everything up each day. If it's moderate to light, pairing everything together works very well. There's no wrong way to do it, really. The best split is one that you can stick to for the longest above all else. Well, that's all I got and what I've learned from constantly trying to optimize my regimen. If you have any questions, anything to add, leave it in the comments. Thanks for being here, and I will see y'all in the next one.